Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Before I begin today, a huge thank you for the virtual gift voucher. You didn't leave your name, but you did say the channel's helped you decide to check out some audiobooks for the first time, and I'm really glad I could help out. So a big thank you for your support, it is truly appreciated, thank you. But on to today. Today we discuss the disappearance and rumoured quest of Leman Russ, as we ask the question, was it ordered by the Emperor of Mankind? General spoiler warning to begin, as we will be discussing events from across the world of Warhammer 40k, so you have been warned. But with that said, let's just jump straight in. So Leman Russ, the Primarch of the Space Wolves. The tales of his disappearance are famed, announcing to his sons amidst the feasting hall that his life's breath is all but spent, and he is departing, only to return when needed for the wolf time. Now, of course, to the wider Imperium, Russ's disappearance is as mysterious as all of the Primarchs, though to his sons, his disappearance is far from it. He left for a very specific purpose: to find the seeds of the Tree of Life. And this is confirmed in the novel Space Wolf. When Ragnar is being suffused with the knowledge of the chapter, we are given this line. He learned of Russ's disappearance on his great quest to find the seeds of the Tree of Life, which would cure his Emperor. Now, Russ's quest for the Tree of Life has been a talking point for fans for some time. However, it being specifically the seeds of the tree that Russ is seeking is a particular detail not often mentioned. The seeds give much greater scope for story narrative. With a bit of poetic license, a figurative seed could quite easily be a person, or well, something else. Now, the roots of this quest, or if it still remains canon, is unknown, but it could very easily still be. We haven't been given any specific reasons to think otherwise. So in the audio drama Parting of Ways, we hear Russ deliver his now famous speech to his sons. But again, what is so often overlooked is that Russ seems almost overcome beforehand by some kind of vision, becoming glassy-eyed and staring off into the distance, as if he alone is seeing something nobody else can. Now, if there was anyone or anything that could come to Russ in this way, it is most definitely the Emperor of Mankind. And if you've read Godblight, you'll know what I mean. Which, by the way, we are most definitely discussing that novel very soon. It may just have to be an unofficial week special. However, back on topic, as we discussed previously, when diving into the Siege of Terror novel Fury of Magnus, we know the Emperor even then foresaw a time when the Imperium would fight back against chaos like never before. A time when the Primarchs would return. And it would make a lot of sense for the Emperor to begin preparing for this possible future to come, dispatching Russ on this quest to find a power to relieve the Emperor from the Golden Throne. So why Russ? Well, of course, he is the Emperor's executioner, and the Emperor did seem to trust him implicitly. He was without doubt one of his favoured sons, and definitely one of the very few he would trust to enter the Eye of Terror without fear of corruption. In truth, I think that's exactly the reason he created the Canis Helix, and we'll dive into that theory another day. However, in recently rereading the new updated Dark Imperium, I also came to a bit of a conclusion. Now, during this novel, we are given the flashback of Guilliman's death at the hands of his brother Fulgrim, and in this emotional scene, we see Guilliman's mind reeling, knowing just how dependent the Imperium is on him. Without a Malcador, or even a Rogel Dawn, Roboute is panicking at the thought of the Imperium being left with no one to take care of it, or at least to take the larger overview. They mourn me already, he realized. I am dead. I cannot die now. Not now. There is too much to do. Too much. Too much. What will Russ do without me? Or the Khan? Too much. Too much. So we know at least Jaghatai and Russ were still believed to be within the Imperium at the time of Guilliman's death. And in looking at Russ's farewell speech, he mentions, I have waited too long building this mountain, squabbling with Guilliman. So we can, I think, reasonably assume with that too, that Russ at least believes Guilliman is still the Lord Commander. So with both brothers believing the other is still present, it certainly feels like these two events happen at around the same time. And if we're going with the theory that the Emperor spoke to Russ, I definitely think it makes not only a good storyline, but also highly possible that the Emperor heard Guilliman as he was crying out for him in his final moments. Roboute may claim no psychic ability, but as we all know, the Primarchs are made of the warp. They all have some psychic presence. Guilliman crying out in his mind, in emotional distress like never before, would surely echo out psychically, and the Emperor would most definitely have heard it. And that is when he went to Russ. The future has many paths. The gift of foresight is not always an exact science. Perhaps it wasn't until that very moment, the moment he heard Guilliman cry out, that he knew the path of their future returns was coming, that the chance of victory, however slim, was still there. And so he mustered the strength he could to begin Russ's quest, knowing in the future now to come that it could just well play a critical piece in him leaving the Golden Throne. Now, the final question we have to ask ourselves, just what is the Tree of Life? In Russ leaving for the Eye of Terror, it really draws your mind to a certain area, and that would be the Garden of Nurgle. Does the god of life and decay have something within his garden that could be used to revitalize the Emperor? Again, if you've read the novel Godblight, this most certainly plays into some current events and makes Russ's quest to find the seeds of the Tree of Life become all the more interesting. However, we'll have to wait to discuss that when we're breaking down Godblight. As always guys, what do you think? Why do you think Russ departed for the Eye of Terror? Was he dispatched by his father? And if so, what do you believe the seeds of the Tree of Life could be? As always, leave your thoughts in the comments below, I love to read them. Huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. And if you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too? But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again tomorrow as Space Wolves Week continues.